Hey guys, so let's talk about finances. More specifically, about how I discovered doing and managing a lot of financial stuff um, through a lot of research. And I decided to make this a sort of series for all you 16, 17, 18-year olds, and even those who are gonna go up the age bracket to show them how to start your finances and how to plan your finances. So let's get started. And I decided to put a simple AI video. I mean, I thought I'd use AI to just shoot some shitty situation, and I found it really funny. So this is gonna stay. I think this is gonna. I'm gonna put this on the first clip and then the AI video. And so let me know what you think of it. So yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the news. Your dad went out for milk and never came back. Now let's talk finances. Okay, so your dad's MIA and you're left holding the financial bag. First things first, don't panic. Start with a budget like yesterday. Track every dollar, even that loose change in your couch. Use apps like Mint or YNAB to make it easier. Next, build an emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is your safety net. Automate savings so you don't even have to think about it. Got debts? Tackle those high-interest ones first. Snowball method or avalanche method. Pick your weapon of choice. Finally, invest in yourself. Read up on finance, take a course, or follow financial gurus on social media. Knowledge is power, my friend. Remember, it's not about what you lost, but what you're gaining control over your financial future. You got this.
From the screen to the ring, to the pen, to the king. Where's my crown? That's my bling. Always drama when I ring.
So quick story as to how I started managing finances, and it was pretty simple. So because my dad is an NRI, which is a non-residential Indian, he couldn't come down for a bit and mostly a lot of the financial stuff. And I decided to sort of step in, help him out. Also because there were a lot of things that couldn't be managed by my mom because she never was introduced and she was very confused about all the financial stuff. So I learned through the hard way, that is, through a lot of trial and error. I mean, because I just knew that I had to ensure that the money that is there in the account doesn't go outward as long as it comes inward. So that was a strategy that I used to follow for a bit, and that's how I sort of learned how to do my finances. And of course, over the years, it grew up into starting. How do I start a business account? How do I improve my savings, etc., etc. And that led me on to research a lot of content in YouTube, uh, mainly with Mark Tilbury, who is a UK-based entrepreneur who is, of course, in his 60s, but he takes great initiative to lead into many more different diverse topics related to finances. And compared to all the sort of content creators that are there in the finance world, I think Mark Tilbury is a personal best. This is not sponsored. Uh, this is not sponsored. This is more of my personal opinion. But I really feel you should definitely give him a chance to, aside from this video, because I learned a lot of stuff like starting out my accounts and acquiring loans and trying to build up my credit scores. So really, aside from this video, you should probably sit and binge watch a lot of Mark Tilbury videos. I probably attach some of the links from Mark Tilbury because, sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, by the way, I suck at names, but he's done a fantastic job to inspire a lot of other people into becoming financially secure. So the video that I'm planning to do today, out of sort of my personal opinion and experience related financial series, is to basically teach the 16, 17s and the 18-year-olds as to how you need to start off and how you need to open up your accounts, open up yourself into realizing that you just cannot go on a spend thrift. You need to realize that you are now accountable to your own finances. You're probably not going to have your parents, because bear in mind, A, your parents are getting old, and B, you're now trying to see how you could earn by yourself without sacrificing your time onto other stuff. So, without sacrificing your time on, let's say, your education or etc., because that essentially is your first priority. So, I decided, and a lot of requests from my friends and contacts too, because half the time I'm giving them financial expertise into sort of making this video today. So, today's video is all about a sort of introduction into finances and how you should get into the realm of starting out your accounts, and now you need to go from there. So let's get started. And sorry for the boring intro, but finances are boring. So yeah. Now the first thing that you need to know about finances is to understand how much you spent or how much you have spent back when you never had an account. What are your dreams? What are your goals?
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the
Goals. Whether you want to own a car or whether you want to own your dream bag,
I'm in love with the coco.
bag or something like that. And then you need to organize them into needs and wants. So why would I say needs and wants? Very simple. You're not going to have $1 million the second you open your account. Let's face it, it's going to take a lot of time. So you need to realize that you need to have main needs as to what you immediately need. Now, let's say you are going off to university and you need a lot of stuff. And of course, you're going to be taking your parents' money, but it's good to visualize that as a thing. So, let's say that you need a mattress, you need a refrigerator, and you need a microwave. Those are your needs. Your wants, in the meanwhile, are your long-term goals, such as I want a car, I want to buy a McLaren, I want to buy a Mercedes, I want to buy a Volkswagen. So this is how you sort out your needs and wants. The third thing that you need to know is to open up 3 accounts. Why? Because we all, that is content creators,
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
entrepreneurs, and etc., the reason why we start off early into trying to get more money is because we prioritize our content, which is sort of our main salary, and then we split our salary into 3 aspects. One is putting almost 50 to 60% into an high interest savings account. Why do we do this? Well, you might have health insurance, you may not have health insurance, but you also don't know when you need that money in case if something goes wrong in your life. So in some cases you could have high taxes, which, well, let's face it, you don't want to be borrowing money to pay taxes. So you might need it for your taxes, or you might need it for simply paying for some medical expenses. You never know. But this, of course, doesn't mean that you go and just spend it on something stupid. This money, which you put more than half of your salary into, is specially reserved for emergency cases. Emergency cases is definitely arguable based on situation to situation, but it's probably best that you don't spend it. The next thing that you are going to have is a loans account, which is still a savings account, but take it or open a bank account with a good bank where you know that the interest rates are relatively good, and where you have a good contact just in case something goes wrong. And why do I personally recommend a loans account compared to all the other people out there is because I have a lot of assets. These range from house loans to car loans to personal loans, so on and so forth. It is always essential to always find a reliable bank that you can contact just in case things go out of pocket. So I had a case where on my dad's house loan, they were actually deducting more than necessary, which as a result impacted the principal amount that had to be cleared. So we knew that the bank that I had a great relationship with uh, helped us out because yeah, the branch office sucked, but the zonal office quite helped us. And it is always essential to just maintain one account where you keep the principal money or the EMI that has to be deducted, because then you know that if it bounces or if still extra is deducted, you don't have to go and scroll through your entire uh, account of statements, because uh, it's just easier to track how much is taken and how much is spent on the loan. So that way you're just keeping this account for whichever EMI deductions are present. And that's why I prefer having a separate account only for my loans or anything that is deductible, like Netflix, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Now, the final account that I do, that I maintain, aside from the loans and high savings interest account, is an expense account. And how the expense account works is basically anything that's related to your personal expenses. Like, let's say your mom goes and tells you, oh, get 10 rupees of mint leaves or something like that. So, or you need to go spend on fuel for your car. So you need 4,000. So I always maintain a monthly budget on this account. So aside from the 50% that I put into the savings account, I put around 20 to 10% into my expense account, because I know that I can use this account for basic stuff like buying or putting fuel for my cars or etc etc
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
etc. So this is just an expense account just for you to track. I have no authentications, I have no loans, nothing, nada on this. It's a basic uh, save it's savings account, but it's used for all my expenses. So in reality, I'm not getting any money back on the money that is fixed aside from the minimum deposit that's required. So that's how I manage, or I would recommend basic strategies to distribute your money. So in conclusion, I'll break it down. So you put 50, you need three accounts, right? You put 50% or more or less, depending on your salary, into a high interest savings account for it to increase over the next 10 to 20 years. Then you need a loans account to track whatever EMIs and etc. that you take in the long run, just in case you have a sudden emergency or you need to take a personal loan or a car loan, so that you know that if the bank is wrongfully deducting money or there is some issue, it is just easier to submit evidence and to also know how much is being deducted. And finally, you need an expense account, which is roughly 10 to 15% of the remaining money after deductibles to the high interest savings account, so that you know that you are restricting yourself, and you don't oversplurge, which is something that happens to a lot of teens out there. The second they open their account, there's this urge to go treat yourself, to a nice luxurious meal. Guess what, son? Nah. You don't want to be wasting your money on a high expense savings meal where you can go get a masala dosa for 15, 30 bucks. So, yeah, definitely uh, don't splurge your expense money, because the remaining money that you have is basically going into the loans. So you gotta be sort of conscious about how much you spend and less thrifty about money, because if you have anything remaining in your expense account or your loans account, that is quite literally backup money in case shit goes wrong. So that's how you prioritize and you start off part one of.
Your phone ringing.
Now the next thing that a lot of people must know is some basic terms and how a bank basically works. So the reason why I'm clubbing these two together is because you understand the process and you understand the term at the same time. So the first thing that you need to know is basically there are three types of business accounts. Sorry, a bank account. The first thing is a savings account. This can be any type of account. It's because a savings account has different categories under it. The second type of account is a current account. This is used by a lot of businesses, financial institutions, education institutions, etc. There are a lot of types. Again, you have a high interest current account and a low interest current account, and so on and so forth. So, anything that you need specialized, it is probably good that you contact a sort of financial officer or a taxation officer to help you out with your wealth and your business. And the third account that is sort of existed but not necessarily used is a sort of business account. And the reason why some people don't like to use a current account and prefer a business account is because on the business account you can also link your employees and etc under it. So if you have 10 to 30 employees and your revenue is generated into the business account, you can set auto deductibles to pay your employees based on the salary agreed upon into the company sponsored come bank sponsored at the same time accounts, which is given to the employees. So I hope that's very clear. I couldn't be more precise and more clear. So yes, there are many types of accounts, but I just thought I'll simplify it and just put it directly. Now the next thing that you need to know about banking stuff are a lot of terms. So what I'm planning to do is I'll either put out a sort of Word file. I don't know if I can do that, or I'll anyways be explaining in the video. But banking terms are very complex, right? Sometimes, if you see any short abbreviation, it is probably best that you contact your account manager or the sales officer of a bank, or simply on a last ditch attempt, probably just check Google, because banking terms change based on country and region. So it is probably best that you don't assume something and you know go and do something stupid. So it is probably best that you have reliable contacts in all of your banks, but some of the common terms that definitely are present and are available and should be known into the banking industry as a holder of accounts are basically statement of accounts, which is the monthly invoice that is generated or a sort of document that is generated where every single aspect of your expenses are tracked. Then you have debits and credits. So credits is anything that is put into your account, and debit is anything that you spend on or is sent to another person. And generally a credit is indicated with a up mark arrow or a right arrow, and debits is indicated with a left arrow or an upside down arrow. The third thing that everyone must know is basically SMS, which is kind of uh, prevalent already, but you need to know RTGS, which is basically a sort of platform where you can send anything upwards of 10 lakhs, but it's not done immediately. It takes around 24 hours. RTGS is generally used for sending a lot of education money outside of a country, or perhaps just massive big amounts of money to be sent to another person. Generally used by a lot of businessmen and entrepreneurs. The next thing that you need to know is NEFT, which is at the moment kind of rare. Some banks don't give the support for NEFTs, but this is sort of in the region of 5 to 10 lakhs. It takes hours, but it doesn't take an entire day. And finally, you have IMPS. So anything that is within 0 to 1 lakh, sometimes up to 5 lakhs, is sent instantly. But the issue is if you send it to a wrong account, you can never get that money back unless and until you know the person. So always proofread your account numbers, which is very important because every bank account is registered to different series of coded numbers. And then you have your IFSC code here in India, which is basically where the accounts is situated upon. That is the location of the bank. Generally, for example, if it's ICICI Bank, it will be ICICI slash whatever the registered code number is for the branch. And then you're pretty much done. In some cases, you'll have an MISC code and etc. etc. You probably don't need it in most cases. If you do need it, it's probably best again to consult your registered contact at your individual home branch. So that basically covers today's video with some basic financial stuff. Stay tuned definitely, because in the next few more videos, I'll definitely be getting into a lot of other stuff like loans, different types of loans, how you could increase your wealth management, and more. So, like, share, subscribe, share this to a lot of your friends out there who need, or sort of, this video doesn't cover a lot, but does cover some important stuff that sort of I never had access to and I just learned through trial and error. So, do share it to them. Definitely, if you have a great dad or a great mom too, do take their help if they are busy. If they're not busy, sorry. They you can definitely learn a lot. Of course, if they're good at banking. If not, you're screwed. Really serious video. You're just doomed with me. So take care. See you soon. Bye bye.